Now, as I was explaining, the idea behind recognizing valid patterns of argument means if we can find an argument, if we're evaluating an argument, we're hearing somebody else's argument, it seems to fall into one of the valid patterns, we then know that at least the conclusion follows from the premises. So that's not going to be a problem with the argument. If we're making an argument, we want to make the same make an argument of one of these forms that is a valid form of argument. Now, what I want to suggest is I'm going to show you in 2 slides the major, or the patterns of inference, the forms of inference, the patterns of argument in predicate logic that probably will give you anywhere from 75 to 100% of the arguments that you're going to encounter, and that have to do with predicate logic, and the ones that you will give. Obviously, there are a lot more complications. There are details we're not going into, but I want to give you a fast and easy way to try to evaluate the arguments. And notice what you're able to do, taking it step by step, is be able to replace kind of the subjects and the predicates with A's and B's and X's for an individual predicate. So A's and B's are going to be for categories for predicates, like man is mortal, and X's are going to be for things like Socrates. Here we have lima beans in our second example, third Mohammed. But let's take a look at the patterns of argument that are good ones. And remember, these are ones that are such that it's impossible for the premises to be true and the conclusion, and at the same time the conclusion, false. First one, we've been through many cases. We have the famous example, all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. The pattern being all A's, men, are B's, mortal. X, Socrates is a man, Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. If you think about it, what the first premise tells you is, if you look over here on the right, that the circle, let's say everything that is a man, is an A, is in that circle. And what the first premise tells you is, if you draw the circle that contains everything that has a B, it has to be drawn around the circle that contains everything that has an A, because everything that's an A is a B. Everything that's a man is mortal. And notice the second premise tells us Socrates, this X thing, is an A. Well, if we know that that's true, and that is all the A's are in the B's, and we know X is in the circle of A's, we know that X is in the circle of B's. This is a diagram that's just supposed to help us understand the pattern of inference. Well, let's look at the next. Valid. These are valid ones. There's a logically strong connection between the premises and the conclusion. All desserts are sweet. Lima beans are not sweet, therefore lima beans are not a dessert. I had somebody in one of my classes taking issue with whether the fact that all desserts are sweet. I think that's kind of what we think of dessert as being. I mean, a salad for dessert is not dessert. And notice it's all A's or B's again. So we have all A's or B's, the first premise. In other words, if we draw a circle, we put everything that's an A in that circle. If we have the circle of all things are B's, everything in the A circle is going to be inside the B circle. Well, the second premise tells us X is not a B. That is, X is over here, right? Outside the circle of B's. Well, if X is over there, X is not an A. X can't possibly be inside that circle. Again, valid pattern of inference. Anytime you find an argument like that, you can map it back to the pattern. Notice that's the set of steps we take. We look at the argument, we replace the predicates with A's and B's. We replace the subjects, the individual items, with X's and Y's and Z's, let's say, and then we see if the diagram works or if we see it's one of these patterns. So I just really want you to see the diagrams are intended just to help you understand it. So are the examples, but the important thing is to recognize these patterns, because notice we have 1, 2, 3 of the major patterns, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one is a minor, but you're going to see some arguments like that. Going on to the third one, all dogs are mammals, all mammals are warm-blooded, therefore all dogs are warm-blooded. Tells you all A's are B's, all B's are C's, therefore all A's are C's. In other words, if we draw a circle, if we put everything that's an A in that circle, well, everything that's within the B circle is going to, everything in the A circle, is contained within the B circle. All dogs are mammals. Now, we go to the second premise. Everything that's a mammal, anything that's a B, the circle around all the B, everything that circle containing all the B things is going to have to be within all of the C things. And notice what we see, everything that's an A, all things in the A circle are in the C circle. Looks like a good inference. It is a good inference, good pattern of argument. Those are the three main ones that you're going to see. Now occasionally you're going to come across something like the fourth one that tells you, example, no Muslims are Christians. Mohammed is a Muslim, therefore Mohammed is not a Christian. The idea is no A's or C's, so if you draw a circle around all the A's, circle around all the B's, there's nothing that overlaps between them. X is an A, Mohammed is X, is a Muslim. Then we go over, obviously, X, Mohammed, is not in the circle of Christians. These are the valid patterns, and let me tell you, those first three are really, really, really important. Those are the ones that I definitely want you to be able to recognize.